welcome back to Dad Knows. So we're going to do something extra special on today's episode. We're going to transport back to the whole studio. We're going to go back to 1920 to celebrate and talk about the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote in the United States. So one of the things we're going to do is once we get back there, we're also then going to bring forward two prominent women's suffrage activists to discuss, their efforts. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and transport back to 1920. Let's go. So here we are in 1920, and in 1920 there were plenty of
equal rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Security. Yeah, I need somebody to get rid of these.
Equal rights. When do we want
don't
it?
Have
Now. What do we want?
He's
Equal rights.
bowling.
When
Why
do
is
we
he
want
bowling?
it? Now.
Right, you know what? I'll get John Hanson. All right, bring in John Hanson.
When do we want it? Now. Hi, I'm John Hanson, the first president of the
John. I didn't bring you for an episode. I will give you an episode if you help me out and get rid of these protesters.
Equal rights. I'll use your wallet.
I don't care what you use. Get rid of them.
Get him!
I hope he's okay. But you know what? If he's not okay, I don't actually have to give him wow, still going on there. I don't have to actually give him an episode later. So that works out win-win. Anyway, so now that we're here in 1920, 19th Amendment's about to be passed. Obviously, the protesters are still fired up about it. But what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in two prominent women suffragists from our past, Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. So without any further ado, whatever that is, let's bring them in. Wow, you're here. Sorry, I was having a little trouble with the time rater. I wasn't sure it was going to work. So thank you, ladies, for coming in. You are Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and you are Susan B. Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us here today. So, as you might know, time travel is amazing. I know you guys are in the past, so this is kind of some freaky stuff to you. But we have actually brought you to 1920, and the 19th Amendment is about to get passed. So women are about to get the right to vote in the United States. This is super exciting. Anyway, so let's talk about how we got started on this. Both of you were actively involved in
Abolitionists. We were both abolitionists.
Yeah, both abolitionists, which meant y'all were against slavery. Okay, so you were both anti-slavery activists, before leading up to the Civil War. Okay, so what got you started on the path to also fighting for women's rights?
Well, I actually went to a convention in London, and while we were there, it was supporting voting rights.
Okay.
They were segregating men and women.
Okay.
So I was a little agitated about that.
So you were at this world conference. It was about abolition, right, and voting rights and everything else. And in that very thing, they broke the women into men and put like a curtain between it.
Yep.
Right. I could see that kind of taking you off, right? Okay. So that kind of started you on that path, and you followed that path for a while, and then about 10 years later, y'all met because you guys kind of traveled in the same circles, right? Okay. And quickly became just like fast friends, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you were married, yes?
Yes.
Right? Okay, married. How many kids? Like
7.
7 kids. Wow,
That's a
seven
handful.
7 kids. Did you homeschool? Never mind. Anyway, so 7 kids, and you never married, right? Never married. Okay. And you, but you guys worked together for a long time, and you actually. So did you just kind of travel around all over the place, or did you stay?
I actually lived with Elizabeth's family and helped take care of her kids so she could have time to write.
Wow, okay, for a long time. So you did that, so you were almost like helped raise the kids.
Yes.
I actually read this quote that said something like, and this was your husband said this, and he said something like, Susan stirs the puddings while Elizabeth stirs up Susan, and then Susan stirs up the world. How's that? Does that sound like something your husband would have said? Maybe? Maybe not. We don't know. He's a silly guy. But yeah, and you actually said something about, did you say something about thunderbolts one time? What did you say?
I said that I lighted the thunderbolts, but then Susan threw them.
Oh, so you made the thunderbolts. Like you helped come up with some of the big ideas, and then Susan went out and lit them, threw them, blew everything up. Right? Awesome. So you guys worked together so hard for that for a long time. So y'all fought for abolition first, right? For 10 years or so, you're all working together for abolition. And then Civil War happened, and slaves were free. Slavery was outlawed. So yay! So what now? That was when you started to do more
women's rights.
Women's rights stuff. Okay, so so you guys had to get kind of excited. You were seeing some of the stuff happen, like the 14th Amendment and the 15th Amendment coming down the pipe, and you were super excited. But then what?
But then the amendment said that first it made black people citizens,
Right.
And then it said black men give the right to vote. We wanted it to be black people that got the right to vote.
Black people right to vote, and who else did right to vote?
Women.
And women of all color, right?
Yes.
So we had 15th Amendment come along and say, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give the right to vote to black men, but not black women, and no other women either, right? So y'all were like, what is going on here? I imagine pretty
We
annoyed.
weren't thrilled with that.
Okay.
No.
Matter of fact, I think in 1873 you actually went and tried to vote.
Yeah.
And had to got convicted for it and everything, but you didn't serve any jail time. That's good. Don't want to go to jail. So in 1878, I believe y'all actually got a congressman from California to propose what? A new law to go in, right, to propose this, the 19th Amendment. And you guys were probably, yeah, it's 1878. We're going to be voting by 1880. It's going to be awesome. Is that what y'all thought?
Yes.
Yeah. But did that happen?
No.
No. Yeah. So y'all both died right after the turn of the century. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to tell you that. Anyway, spoiler alert, neither one of you is making it to like 1905. But in 1920, this is finally going to get ratified. And all of your hard work, and you guys are both known as like the kind of the foundation, the titans of that movement in the United States that made it happen. So it would probably not have happened, at least not by 1920, which just seems like, why did it take so long? Well, it would have taken even longer without the two of you. So we thank you so much for that. Do you guys have anything else you want to say? Oh, what else? What about, were there any other movements you guys were active in?
We were against alcohol.
Against that, so in the temperance movement? Okay.
Yes.
Why was that?
We just thought alcohol caused all sorts of problems and messed up families and
Right.
destroyed all sorts of things.
Okay, a lot of problems like because women didn't have rights, right?
Yeah.
So if the man of the family was abusing alcohol, they might be using them or some other things, or deserting the family or whatever else, and the women didn't really have any recourse to do anything, right? So okay, cool. So y'all were against that as well. All right, so thank you guys so much. I'm gonna send you back, and then remember, forget what I said about not making it to see this happen. Just go live happy lives. And know that it is going to happen. Okay, so it's going to happen to me. So I'm going to send y'all back.
Gratifying, but also depressing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming into DadKnows. Okay. All right. That was awesome having them in. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back for the wrap up. Thank you so much. Hi. Today's episode of DadKnows is brought to you by the Roaring '20s. That's right. Are you looking for a period of unrivaled economic expansion that will last forever? Good times. There'll be parties unlimited. They'll just go on for decades and decades and decades, starting in the Roaring '20s. Nothing could ever go wrong. The economy will not crash at all. Things are going to be great. The Roaring '20s. Thank you very much. All right, so thank you to the Roaring '20s for their sponsorship of today's program. So again, the 19th Amendment, women's right to vote in the United States, huge step forward. Something crazy that I saw is that we estimate that there's probably about 80 to 85,000 people that are over the age of 101 in the United States today, which means that there's about 80 to 85,000 people that were born when women still couldn't vote in the United States. So that's pretty crazy to think about. So there's actually people that are still alive today that were born when women didn't have the right to vote in the United States, because that's one of the things that we just kind of take for granted. So we should always remember to be vigilant about these things and make sure they happen. So that being said, I thank you again to my guests for coming in, Elizabeth Katie Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. And we'll see you back here next week. If you like our episodes, share them. If you don't, there's not much I can do for you. Anyway, thanks so much. Bye.